today in the world of the internet, Ashley Madison, which is a dating service for married people looking to have an affair. It was hacked today.
My dad reached a point of such hopelessness and despair.
How interesting that a site that is based on keeping your information private is getting hacked. What happened here?
Unlike fairy tales, not all marriages end in happily ever after. You've probably heard the saying that 50% of marriages end in divorce. But did you know that 60% of these divorces are because of infidelity? And if finding out your partner was a cheater wasn't bad enough, in 2015, millions of wives came face to face with this truth in the most public way possible, through a massive data leak by a secret team of vigilante hackers. This is the fall of Ashley Madison and how one hack exposed 37 million cheating husbands. What is Ashley Madison? Life is short, have an affair. That is the slogan of the world's #1 married dating app. Founded in 2001 by Canadian entrepreneur Noel Biederman, Ashley Madison is a dating platform meant for those looking to arrange affairs, aka cheat on their partners.
Caught up in your daily routine, Ashley Madison, where the world explores affairs.
Ashley Madison markets itself as a place free of judgment for consenting adults looking to explore secret relationships. The site has had over 80 million signups since 2002, with an estimated 20,000 new members daily. The site doesn't only benefit the cheaters though. Ashley Madison's parent company, Ruby Life, has been making some serious money from this platform, because it turns out that capitalizing off of infidelity is actually a really successful business model. Although the company is currently called Ruby Life, it used to have a different name, Avid Life Media. Remember that name because we'll be getting back to that later. As of 2023, Ashley Madison is raking in $400,000 per every million users. And with 70 million users, that adds up to an annual revenue of $28 million, which makes Ashley Madison the 13th most profitable dating app in the world. The site makes most of its money from charging its male customers to access the main features. Each message you receive on Ashley Madison is hidden behind a paywall. Users can only bypass this with pay-per-use credits or through a monthly subscription. To send or even just read messages, you need to pay a fee of 5 credits, or prepay for an hour of live chatting for 50 credits. And the credits are not cheap. For $59, you can only get 100 credits, which means each message could cost about $10. You can also use credits to add features like boosting your profile in search rankings or sending virtual gifts. Why are people willing to pay this much for a dating website? The main reason? Anonymity. Cheaters don't want to get caught. That's why they appreciate Ashley Madison's many anonymous features and don't mind spending a bit of cash for them. Users are given the option to have anonymous profiles filled with fake user information to make sure that no one knows their true identity. There's even a full delete button which charges users a $19 fee. After paying, all of their private information is completely deleted from the website and its databases. That way, no one can trace them back to the site and their marriages can remain safe. But if cheating isn't your thing, Ashley Madison's parent company, Ruby Life, still has got you covered, because there are plenty of other dating websites in their portfolio that's meant to satisfy other dating fantasies, and they aren't any better. Avid Life Media, the empire built on deception. Before becoming Ruby Life, the company was known as Avid Life Media, a name that frequently made headlines for its controversial websites. So in order to understand why Avid Life Media was an attractive target for hackers, we need to look into how these scandalous websites function. If there was one thing Avid Life Media knew how to do, it was to sell you a lifestyle. And what better way to do that than to give you the perfect ideal woman you're looking for on these websites? Instead of simply running ads to entice you, Avid Life Media took it one step further. They made these ads the faces of the company. Avid Life Media hired models to pretend to be top-level executives of these dating sites. They even created backstories to try and get more customers. These women would make several media appearances talking about how they built the businesses from the ground up.
Boys. It's easy to date a woman like me.
Claudia Optenkelder was one of these women. Posing as a CEO, she made several appearances on national TV talking about her dating platform, Cougar Life. Claudia was personable, well-liked, and was every man's dream. But what they didn't know was that this was all a fantasy. And this questionable marketing strategy wasn't just aimed at men. They had another tactic to target women. In 2013, Avid Life Media was getting attention for all the wrong reasons. And it wasn't just one dating site that drew criticism. They had two. Combine these two sites with the Ashley Madison website, website, and you've got a trio package of questionable dating sites. So how did two scandalous sites put Avid Life Media in the hot seat? The dating site Arrangement Finders was targeted toward female university students and younger adult women. They launched billboards that featured pictures of known stars paired with suggestive text. So if the primary users were young women, who were the people trying to connect with them? Arrangement Finders made it extremely clear who they were after because many of these ads were strategically placed near popular family attractions. You can pretty much guess what they were getting at. Girls on the site would get paid by men to go out on dates with them. These relationships were purely transactional, which meant that they usually towed the line between legal and illegal. Shortly after this controversy, Arrangement Finders shut down and their ads were taken down a week later. Just like Arrangement Finders, which was aimed at women, the second site was meant to target men. Established men, aimed to connect beautiful women with interesting men. Both sites seemed to target vulnerable women in financial need, and people were not happy with these two sites. These websites were fine on paper, and there was no concrete evidence of illegal activity happening. It seemed like Avid Life Media cracked the code on monetizing even the worst kinds of dating. But just because they couldn't be taken down legally doesn't mean they couldn't be taken down. Avid Life Media found itself targeted by people willing to take matters into their own hands, and they weren't playing by the rules. The hack. While Ashley Madison shows how far people will go for secret pleasure, real happiness isn't about secret desires. It's about living openly and healthy. And what better way to start than by focusing on what you put into your body? So I read this book called How Not to Die, and it made me realize that what we eat is way more crucial than you think. But eating healthy clearly isn't easy, or you'd be doing it already. It requires a lot of planning, especially for people who spend a lot of time behind the computer like you and me. That's where today's sponsor, Factor, comes in. Factor makes nutritious eating quick and easy. You can heat up a chef-quality meal in just 2 minutes with no prep or cleanup. It lets you focus on doing what you love. In my case, YouTube. Factor offers meals for any lifestyle, including keto, vegan, and calorie smart. Meal plans range from 4 to 18 meals per week, depending on your needs, and there are over 27 meal options. I get tired of eating the same food, so this is a game changer. To get these fire meals delivered to your door, use my link or go to go.factor75.com and use code POGVentureOct50 for 50% off your first box. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code with your phone. In the first half of 2015, things were looking good for Avid Life Media. With over 30 million registered users on Ashley Madison, it was the leading married dating website. The site had grossed $115 million the year before, and the CEO, Noel Biederman, was taking home more than $5 million a year. With all these impressive numbers, there's no denying it. Cheating really did pay. With summer around the corner, it seemed like nothing could get in the way of Ashley Madison's growth. The warmer months meant summer flings, and no one benefited more from a casual hookup than they did. And although things would heat up, it wouldn't be in the way that anyone expected, because Ashley Madison would soon come face to face with its greatest fear.
This hack has a lot of people sweating it out right now. We mentioned it earlier. Cheating site Ashley Madison was hacked by a group calling itself the Impact Team.
In July of 2015, the media was on fire after a mysterious message showed up on the dark web. A group of anonymous hackers by the name of the Impact Team issued a cryptic warning to Avid Life Media. In the statement, the hackers addressed Ashley Madison's executives by name, welcoming them to their worst nightmare. They called out the company for its lack of protection of personal user information. Then they told the public how they had hacked into the systems of not just Ashley Madison, but all the dating sites associated with their parent company, Avid Life Media. The hackers also exposed Ashley Madison for allegedly scamming its users with features like the full delete button, calling it a complete lie. Because after breaching the system, they were able to see the database of all the deleted user records. The message was a threat. In the message, the hacker stated that if Avid Life Media did not shut down Ashley Madison and their other site, Established Men, the hackers would release the data of every single user. The end of the message name-dropped all of the key players at Avid Life Media, asking them one question: what's it going to be? As expected, millions of people were in a complete frenzy after this news broke. This wasn't just a risk to Avid Life Media. It was a risk to any cheating person who had ever signed up to one of these sites. If this data were to get out, it wouldn't just be the end of Ashley Madison. It would be the end of millions of marriages. As the days passed, more and more people began to panic. It wasn't like this was some sort of baseless, empty threat. The Impact Team had been slowly releasing bits and pieces of user information to pile on the pressure. But it wasn't just Avid Life Media that felt the stress. It was their customers. Reddit forums blew up. News outlets used it as their top story. It even became a hot topic for late-night talk show hosts. But for some reason, Avid Life Media wasn't taking any action. It seemed like while the whole world couldn't stop talking about the Impact Team, Avid Life Media remained silent. Aside from a statement they made on the morning of the attack, nothing else was done. I mean, if your business was making you millions of dollars a year, why would you want to shut it down? Avid Life Media sure didn't. So instead of following the Impact team's orders, they kept their sites up and running, which was their biggest mistake. 30 days later, nothing had changed. Maybe they thought the hackers were just making empty threats, or maybe they just didn't want to lose money. Either way, they ignored the warning from the Impact team. Ashley Madison and established men remained online, business as usual. So on August 18th, 2015, the Impact team fulfilled their promise. The private data of over 37 million users was released to the public via the dark web. 32 million names were plastered all over the internet. All of these names came with addresses, phone numbers, transaction histories, and email addresses, all taken from their Ashley Madison profiles. A whopping amount of 10 gigabytes of data were exposed for the public to see. But there were more surprises in store when the information was released. Around 15,000 of the exposed email addresses were .gov or .mil, which meant that they belonged to government or military personnel. Along with user information, the Impact team hackers also leaked documents, email chains, and other private information of Ashley Madison CEO Noel Biederman. And the icing on the cake? The Impact team left one final gift, a message titled "Time's Up," meant for the team at Avid Life Media and users of Ashley Madison. Immediately, the internet began picking apart every detail of these messages. The Impact team had practically just told the world that everything Avid Life Media had been telling its customers was a lie. Even if you put the hack aside, some of the claims in these letters were highly concerning. Ashley Madison is a site that profits off the promise of protecting the personal data of its users. But were they really protecting user data?
The site was running something called a full delete feature, where you pay a certain fee and then the site promises to obviously delete all of your information, because of course it's quite a sensitive site. They claim that this wasn't happening, and they found evidence of this in the data, and they released it to sort of vindicate these customers.
In their initial warning, the Impact team pointed to the full delete feature as an example to expose Avid Life Media's deceptive practices. The hackers claimed that this particular feature had earned the company $1.7 million in revenue at the time of the data breach, all while allegedly being a complete lie. This feature costs $19 per use, but despite promises made to customers, their data wasn't actually deleted from the site even after they paid. Their credit card information remained stored in the transaction history, and the purchase details were not removed as promised. That means that usernames and addresses remained on record, which made the delete button entirely useless. And people only found this out because of the Impact team's hack. Many customers who had paid for the full delete feature were shocked to find their personal information still in the leaked database. There was so much backlash that Avid Life Media was dragged into several lawsuits. One unnamed woman was so outraged to find that her personal information was exposed that she sought out more than $5 million in damages. As more evidence was gathered to validate the Impact team's claims, it was getting harder to deny that Ashley Madison was a fraud. And if that wasn't enough to ruin their credibility, there was more. In the Impact team's Time's Up message, they provided a key statistic that stunned everyone. See, Ashley Madison fake profile lawsuit. 90 to 95% of actual users are male. The belief that Ashley Madison created fake female profiles wasn't new. Since the site's creation, people have questioned whether or not it actually had as many women as they advertised. But it wasn't until the Impact team released their statement that people actually started to do some digging. In 2012, Ashley Madison found itself in the middle of a lawsuit with former employee Doriana Silva. The employee claimed that she suffered injuries as a result of tasks that she had to do on the job. You might be thinking, maybe she fell off a ladder or tripped on a wire or something. Well, Doriana claimed that she was forced to make 1,000 fake female profiles within a matter of weeks when the site was launching its Portuguese version. She was seeking $20 million in damages because this resulted in forearm and wrist injuries. Ashley Madison then countersued for $100,000, claiming that Doriana kept confidential documents even after leaving her job. The lawsuits were thrown out, but this added more evidence to the Impact team's claims. After the data leak confirmed that the statistic was true, multiple class action lawsuits were filed against Ashley Madison. The lawsuit accused the site of using fembots to attract paying male customers, arguing that this made them victims of fraud. The released information revealed that the hackers say 90 to 95% of female profiles on the site are fake. Investigative journalists also joined in on the search for the truth. After pouring countless hours into researching the data, they found concrete proof that there were virtually no women on the site.
In the database that was released, the website had 31 million men and 5.5 million women, which is a ratio of about 5 to 1. But Newitz discovered that of those 5.5 million women, only 1,492 ever looked at a single message in their inbox, ever, compared to more than 20 million men who had looked at their inboxes. That means of all of the active users on the website, 0.01%, actually less than 0.01%, of those users were women.
After this news spread, Avid Life Media claimed that this wasn't their fault, but rather that third parties had maliciously misused their site. It turns out that Ashley Madison has a reputation for attracting a range of external scams. Many have used Ashley Madison as a means for catfishing, blackmail, or phishing scams targeted at its users. Since a majority of Ashley Madison profiles are meant to have minimal personal information, it makes it a much easier platform to disguise yourself as someone else. But let's not forget, the company itself has been caught creating thousands of fake profiles. Sure, they have a point about third-party interference, but most of these fake female profiles were still made by the company. How do we know this? Well, IP addresses were analyzed to reveal the location of where these accounts were last used. The key findings were that a staggering 80,805 profiles linked back to one specific IP address. Which one? The Ashley Madison offices. All signs were pointing to one thing: Ashley Madison had practically no female users. The Impact team had blown the roof off of Ashley Madison's entire operation. The big question is, who really is the Impact team? Vigilantes or villains? Now, what would you even classify the Impact team as? Villains, heroes, vigilantes? Nothing else was known about them besides what they told us in their letters, so no one knew for sure. But it seemed obvious that their morals pushed them to do what they did. We are dedicated, focused, skilled, and we're never going away. If you profit off the pain of others, whatever it takes, we will completely own you. Judging by their words, they seem to be expert hackers aiming to deliver their own version of justice. And even though we don't know anything more personal about them, they did do an interview through email about the hack. During this interview, they were asked about what the process was like hacking into Avid Life Media. And the answers were pretty surprising and only ended up making Ashley Madison's customers even more upset. The Impact team said that they worked hard to make a fully undetectable attack, only to get into the system and find nothing to bypass. When the interviewer asked about the state of Avid Life Media's security, her answer started with just one word: bad. The hackers exposed that the company's security was weak, basically just dividing their network into smaller parts. This simple setup was far from effective at keeping out unauthorized users. According to the hackers, using just a basic VPN was enough to gain access to all the servers. For a company that says it cares about keeping its users' information private, this weak security system made Ashley Madison users even more mad. They had been paying all of this money to use a site they assumed would keep their private information safe. Not only did that not happen, but the company didn't even have the right system in place to protect it. The Impact team claimed that Avid Life Media makes around $100 million in fraudulent dollars a year, and that the website became a breeding ground for illegal activity. It turns out the hackers have been watching it all go down for years. The Impact team finally felt that it was time to make a move and shut the site down. They also addressed the elephant in the room. Who was the true blackmailer in the situation? Their answer? We didn't blackmail users. Avid Life Media blackmailed them. Through this interview, it seemed clear that the Impact team hacked Ashley Madison because they felt it was necessary. It seemed like the 37 million users were just caught in the middle while the Impact team was trying to bring down Avid Life Media. The hacker group ended the interview by answering one final question: will the Impact team be hacking any other sites in the future? Not just sites, any companies that make hundreds of millions profiting off the pain of others' secrets and lies. To this day, no one truly knows who the Impact team is. But one thing's clear: they exposed Avid Life Media. So that leaves us with one big question: what happened to the husbands who had their information leaked? The shattered marriages. With so much media coverage and a couple of famous people on the list, word spread like wildfire about the leak. It didn't take long for the once secret Ashley Madison users to face consequences not just from their partners, but also from their friends, families, and coworkers. The Impact team left the cheaters one final message: it was ALM that failed you and lied to you. Prosecute them and claim damages, then move on with your life. Learn your lesson and make amends. Embarrassing now, but you'll get over it. But unfortunately for some, the consequences of their new reality became too much to handle, and they never got over it. Millions of guilty husbands were trying to salvage their marriages. With websites like checkashleymadison.com giving wives easy access to the leaked data, these secret relationships weren't so secret anymore. But while most men attempted to fix their mistakes, others simply couldn't.
More fallout tonight from that hack of the cheating website, Ashley Madison.
The unfortunate passing of some men seemed to happen after the Ashley Madison hack, and other Ashley Madison users became victims of even more internet blackmail. With their contact information available for anyone to see, scammers saw an opportunity. The scammers aimed to blackmail the husbands for money, usually in the form of Bitcoin, by saying they would reveal their affairs to their families. Like most internet schemes, many of these emails sat in the inbox ignored. However, these scammers weren't playing around. If they weren't given their $2,500 ransom, they would send personalized letters to the wives informing them of their husband's spot in the Ashley Madison user database. It wasn't just cheating husbands who got messages like these. Small businesses also got emails from people claiming to be hackers. These emails said that they would would release private information from their websites unless they got paid. For better or for worse, the identities of these cheaters were out there, and the reactions were definitely mixed. Some sympathized with the husbands, arguing that their private data was exposed because of the carelessness of a company that they thought they could trust. Others felt that what happened was completely justified and that cheaters deserve no sympathy. But regardless of what side you're on, one thing's for sure: the Impact team lived up to their name. They made a lasting impact that won't be forgotten. The story of Ashley Madison is a reminder to be careful who you give your data to. And also the obvious lesson: don't cheat. My friends, be careful online because it only takes one click to change your life forever.